Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the fast-paced world of MSC F1 Esports. Join us as we witness the world's top talent battle it out in the ultimate virtual racing showdown. Get ready for heart-stopping moments, breathtaking overtakes, and unforgettable memories. This is MSC F1 Esports. Let the race begin.
See for the Hungarian Grand Prix, and it's lights out and away we go.
Good evening, my people up in the chandeliers. The wine and dining, the menu is blood, sweat, and tears. Everybody ready, raining down confetti. Champions are born right now. Ain't about the glamour, click goes the hammer. Run when you hear that sound. Heroes never die, gonna make it to the finish line. We know we survive.
Excellent job, mate.
Slide. Their dreams just keep dripping out of their golden cups. I'm starving, leftovers ain't enough. Ain't about the Royals, they do nothing for you. All you got is you right now. Who is gonna conquer? Better never count me out. Heroes never die, gonna make it to the finish line. We know we survive, even if we crawl to the finish line. All overrated, underdog dreaming, don't need no tears. World's gonna see it. Heroes never die, gonna make it to the finish line. Gotta make it to the finish line every day, every day. Gotta make it to the finish line. Gotta make it to the finish line every day, every day. Heroes never die.
See, we'll look for a move on Jonathan. Here comes the McLaren of DMT. Oh, he goes left and then to the right, and he makes the move. That was clean, crisp, and quality racing from the McLaren driver up to P6. Then was round, oh my God!
Heroes never die. Gonna make it to the finish line.
It's enough. Phoenix Gray once again has shown
You are the new champion of the world.
Hello, 1 2 1 2. Well, just tried again. Lewis has set a new purple lap, a 1:43.0 for the Haas team. Ale slid a 43.3 in there somewhere in the last couple of moments. Brad is still setting P3 on a 43.490. Dutchy, that 44 zip, back out on track. Little drips. There we go. Hopefully now everyone can hear. Hopefully now, Bradders, you can hear me too. OGS man saying you can hear me. That's good. I speak. I do indeed speak. He speaks. Oh wow, everyone's saying you couldn't hear me. I am so sorry, folks. I've been sitting in a corner for the last 20 minutes, bigging everyone up here. You can't hear me, so that's absolutely appalling behaviour from me. I am so sorry. Anyway, Little Drips on an invalidated lap time here for the Alpine team returns to pit lane. Jonathan Corin on a flying lap, 32.8 through the first sector, is on a set of mediums. Daddy Cool on track for the Alpine team on a set of softs, winding his way through the Fania chicane. I have to feel like I need to make up a little bit for lost time. 16.3 through the middle sector for Daddy Cool. Jonathan Corin retires from the session whilst out on track. Not sure what has gone on there. So the Aston Martin driver calling it early. It's Carlos Sainz on an out lap. Phoenix Grey on track is on a flying lap as well, just starting it on a set of mediums for the RB team. As he winds his way through Eau Rouge and up to Radion, who has come to the end of a lap. No one really, everyone in the early part of the lap. As one of the Alpines, that was Daddy Cool, set to 1:45.2 to go P7, knocking Cam McKenzie down to P8. Everyone at the top of the session, all in the 144s, the low 144s or even the 43s, so that goes to show you just kind of the pace we have here in the Alonso-Division for MSC F1. Ortron going through Pouan now, 31.4 through the first sector in toward the Fania chicane. Phoenix Grey, the car behind, also on a flying lap. The Dutchy on a flying lap as well, the next car behind Phoenix Grey, currently sitting on a 44.0. Phoenix Grey 1:15.1 through the middle sector, registering as a purple sector, in fact, on our mini map display here. Phoenix Grey coming through Blanchimont, Ortron just ahead in the McLaren. We'll see the checkered line first. Carlos Sainz starting a flying lap for the Williams team. He's had a couple of sighter laps, now needs to get one on the board with only 6.5 minutes left to go in the first part of quality. 45.5 for Ortron. Phoenix Grey set to 43.7. The Dutchy up to the line doesn't improve as a 44.8 for the Kick Sauber driver. The Alpine of Daddy Cool, I believe, on the way back to the pits after setting that 45.2. Carlos Sainz in the Williams, 31 flat through the first sector. I believe it's the next car on a flying lap that will see the the start-finish line, I should say. Making his way through Pouan in that Komatsu Duracell Williams car. Now the Fania chicane for Carlos Sainz coming up. We'll see a middle sector split in just a couple of moments. 1:51 put Phoenix Grey to P4 as a time stamp of 15.6. Could see Carlos Sainz split the Kick Sauber drivers at this rate as he makes his way up toward Blanchimont and then the bus stop chicane. It's being pointed out to me that Phoenix Grey's lap, and indeed it was, the 43.7 was on a set of mediums. So Phoenix Grey masking the true pace of that RB there. Not sure who else might be on that set of mediums that might have been speaking about, but 44.6 there for Carlos Sainz as well. Goes to P8. Didn't quite split the Kick Saubers, but comes in just behind them, just a couple of tenths off them. Ortron on getting out of the way. Tasmanager on 46 sip. Cinders returning to pit lane. Smalley back out on track on a new set of softs. Lil Drips in the Alpine, 31.2 through the first sector. 1:15.3 through the middle sector. Needs a good final sector here just to make sure he can get through to the end of, or to Q2. IJ's man in the Mercedes just joining the session. Lil Drips is one ride out of Blanchimont and has validated the lap right at the death here. Brad is retired from the session while we were looking for Lil Drips to get to the checkered flag. Smalley still on that 1:46.8. Who else is on track? Cam McKenzie out on track again on a new set of mediums. 3 minutes 40 left on the clock. Can Little Drips get a new set of tyres on that Alpine and back round to get to the checkered flag? Just to have an attempt at the a flying lap to get through to Q2. Right, it was Bradders saying on that 43.490 that he was on mediums. My apologies, Bradders. You're hidden away under the name of Leclerc. You had me a little bit confused there. As Phoenix Grey on an invalidated lap was going for a second flying run, I believe, on the same set of mediums that he was originally on. Lil Drips reporting that Autron was on the racing line through Blanchimont. That's why he ran out wide. That's potentially one for the stewards, but Autron, to be fair to him, did hold up his hands and apologise. So 2 minutes 50 left on the clock. Cam McKenzie on a flying lap coming up toward the end of the first sector. Carlos Sainz is retiring. Cam McKenzie a 1/10.5 up on his previous best, so no improvement there whatsoever. Tasmanager on a new flying lap as well. LA retiring, so the top three all retiring. Happy with their mid to low 1:43. Smalley found a second through the middle sector. Needs another good final sector here to propel his way up the order as best he can. Smalley through the bus stop chicane. The one and only remaining Aston Martin in the qualifying session up to the line. Smalley 1:45.8 finds a second, goes P12. That should be enough to keep him out of the drop zone, with his teammate Jonathan Corin and the Mercedes driver of IJS man retiring. Lil Drips did make it back out on track. He's got 2 minutes to get round to the start finish line before the checkered flag falls to set a lap time and get out of that P17 drop zone. Who else is on a lap? Cam McKenzie's lap is invalidated. Everyone else is either in the pits or retired. The Dutchie's on an out lap as well here. So 5 drivers still wanting to improve right at the end here. Cinders starting a flying lap for Red Bull. Currently the slowest of anyone, and that slide out of the bus stop chicane, proper tank slapper, will not help his cause here as he tries to get himself out of that kind of the slowest of anyone with a representative lap time position. Tasmanager improves to a 45.6, goes back up to P12 ahead of Smalley. The Dutchie starting a flying lap behind. Little Drips into the bus stop chicane now. Will see the start finish line before the checkered flag falls, so will be able to set a flying lap if he can just keep it in bounds. Autron in the McLaren also trying to get to the checkered flag before it falls, as is Daddy Cool, who's a couple of corners behind the McLaren driver. So is everyone going to get to the checkered flag, the start finish line before the checkered flag? We've got Smalley, who is going very slowly through the end of the second sector. Autron does indeed cross the start finish line. He gets to start a flying lap, looking to improve on that 1:45.5. There is Daddy Cool, also onto a flying lap as well. So eyes turn towards Cinders as he comes to the end of his flying lap. Smalley up the road needs to be careful to not get in the way here, as through Blanchimont goes Cinders. As the clouds begin to fall, the checkered flag is out at the end of Q1. Cinders through the bus stop chicane for Red Bull. Gets the power down and up to the line. Cinders improves by 3.5 tenths of a second, but remains P14 to a 1:46.2. The Dutchie, the next car, going to take the checkered flag. Sorry, It found half a second through the middle sector. The Dutchie up to the line. A little bit of a snake out of the final corner. 43.5 goes P4. The Dutchie safely into Q2. Cam McKenzie returning to pit lane. Little drips rounding the bus stop chicane. Kept it all in bounds. Kept it nice and clean. 144.3 gets him up to P8. We'll see him through into Q2. Right, now everyone now will go through to Q2 as Jonathan Corin and the Mercedes driver, IGS man, retired from the session. So we have our 15 drivers going through to Q2. Ortron and Daddy Cool finishing their laps for Pride. McLaren driver out of the bus stop chicane, up to the line. Improves to a 45.4, goes to P11. Daddy Cool rounds the final corner. Again, this is just for Pride for these drivers. Crosses the line. That's the end of Q1. And there we go. There is the classification at the end of the session. Bradders and Phoenix Grey will be looking happy there. P3 and P5 respectively, both on a set of mediums. Both less than half a second for Bradders, less than 7.5 tenths for Phoenix Grey. Both feeling confident then. As we head in toward Q2, we're going to lose another 5 drivers this time out. And then we're down to the Fast 10 for the pole position shootout. As we have a green flag at the end of the pit lane and Q2 is underway here in the at the Belgian Grand Prix. Now I wonder, just as a little bit of a talking point, we didn't see many teams, or at least I didn't pick up on many teams, trying to go for a little bit of a slipstream effect up the Kemmel Straight. Of course, a number of teams have both drivers through to the second part of qualifying. Red Bull, Kick Sauber, Williams, just to name a couple. I wonder if they will give it a go, just to see if they can help both drivers have a crack at Q3. Slipstream effect up the Kemmel Straight is almost every car straight away out onto track in the first minute of the session. The clouds are closing in here at Spa-Francorchamps, so I wonder, is there rain in the air in the Ardennes forest somewhere? So it looks like it's going to be Cinders, the last driver to head out onto track. Smallly underway, so indeed all 15 cars straight out on track here. No one messing around. They must know something that we don't in the commentary box, and that is that rain is on the way, as I understand. With such chaos, it's going to be Carlos Sainz. They're going to be the first car that takes the start and finish line to start a flying lap. We'll turn lap data on. Carlos Sainz on a set of softs, little drip, set of softs, LA, set of softs. Everyone on a set of softs with the exception of Ortron in the McLaren and Dangerous Dave on mediums for the for Ferrari. So Ortron and Dangerous Dave going for a set of mediums, everyone else a set of softs. And Carlos Sainz starts flying lap here in Q2, followed swiftly by one of the Haas cars, and then they all come out of the bus stop chicane. Here we go. Are they going to have clean air? Are they going to slow each other up in any way? That's going to be a big question throughout the next couple of minutes or so, as everyone makes their way, as most drivers make their way out of La Source down to Arige and up the hill. The RS is wide open. A little bit of space being made by Lewis W, just to give himself a chance at some clear air. as Ortron makes his way through the bus stop chicane on those medium tyres. They're going to take slightly longer to warm up. Then Cinder's the last car through the bus stop chicane now, and now everyone is on a flying lap once Cinder's crosses this first line in front of us. And here we go, 15 cars all pushing for a lap. Carlos Sainz at the end of the first sector, 1:15.6. Let's see how that compares to everyone else as they come across the line. Bradders going to be the next car. It wasn't Bradders, that was a misread. It was Phoenix Grey who set a 1:14.8 through the middle sector. So purple middle sector there for Phoenix Grey. Dangerous Dave a 15.0 as well, just as a comparison. Carlos Sainz makes his way out of the bus stop chicane. Slow moving cast, that's Cam McKenzie. Carlos Sainz sets a 44.440. Goes naturally provisional P1 Phoenix Grey up to the line. Goes for a 43 flat. Goes 1.4 seconds faster. Ole 43.3. One of the Kick Saubers the next car to cross the line. It's the Duchy on a 44.2. Mercedes and Ferrari coming up. Tasmanager 45.5. Dangerous Dave a 43.3 on that set of mediums. Where has Dangerous Dave wringing the neck out of that Ferrari? That's an absolutely blistering time on mediums. Lil Drips 44.3. Lewis with a new purple lap of 42.990, immediately beaten by Bradders on a 42.696. Lap times tumbling here at Spa-Francorchamps. Daddy Cool on a 45.551. Smalley, the next car up to the line, goes P9 on a 45.339. Ortron now up to the line in the McLaren, 45.524. Cinder's going to be the last car to end this opening stanza of flying runs. Damir and Cam McKenzie return to pit lane. Cinders crosses the line on a 45.8. Smalley, Ortron, Tasmanager, Daddy Cool, Cinders separated by 0.3 of a second. Currently the slowest 5 drivers to set a flying lap time. What can Cam McKenzie and Damir do? There are 2 drivers that didn't finish their flying laps in the first stanza. How happy is Bradders feeling right now? 42.6. That set of medium tyres really did mask his pace in the first part of qualifying. As now everyone feeds back to the pit. There we go, Cam McKenzie and Damir both straight back out on track once they had their new tyres on, so obviously trying to beat the rain that is in the air. As these two will have the track all to themselves. So they're at the start of the middle sector, everyone else is either in the pits or at the end of the middle sector. As Brad is retiring from the session, he's happy on that 42.6. He doesn't think anyone's going to beat that, or at least not enough people that will drop him out of the session. Brad is saying he was feeling confident yesterday, nearly winning the race almost, had it not been for a Ferrari level strategy call. As Cam McKenzie and Damir make their way around the bottom end of the circuit. What lap times do the Haas and the Kick Sauber driver have in the tank? So here we go, Cam McKenzie dialing up that Haas, hits the start finish line at a sprint, and away he goes for his second attempt at a flying lap. Damir now around the final part of the bus stop and also back onto a flying run. Tasmanager back out on track. Smalley stayed out on track as he returned to the pits. He's taken a long time on that in lap. Phoenix Grey back out on track as well, as is Carlos Sainz to the Duchy. Are we going to see just drivers trying to do as many flying laps as possible, just give themselves the best chance to be on track at the best possible time? In Meanwhile, Cam McKenzie, 31.7 through the first sector. Didn't see a sector split for Daymare, so not sure how he's getting on in relation to Cam. As Cam McKenzie makes his way down toward Piron. Really can flick it in, use all of the grip in the those soft compound tyres in toward the Fania chicane. See the suspension working in the back of that Haas. Now in toward Campus. A little bit of a lock up there from the Haas driver. 15.6 as he crosses the middle sector split. Let's have a look for Daymare. Daymare was a 31.1 through the middle sector. Middle sector split a 15.1, so looking a little bit faster than the Haas driver. A little bit up the road is Daymare. It's Carlos Sainz starting a new flying lap. Pretty much everyone else is back out on track with the exception of Lil Drips and Smalley. Cam McKenzie though rounds the second part of the bus stop chicane, opens up the DRS, crosses the line, 44.3 goes to P7. Daymare now crossing the line, 43.8 goes to P6. A few tenths of a second ahead of his kick-Sauber teammate, the Dutchie, who is, there he is, just rounding the final corner, starting a new flying lap now. Let's have a look what the likes of Carlos Sainz are doing. Carlos Sainz found 0.3 of a second through the first sector. Phoenix Gray found half a tenth, so improvements being made by the first two drivers to set lap times. Cinders and Daddy Cool back out on track as well, looking to improve. Taz Manager didn't find any time. He's on a set of mediums though at the moment. The Dutchie up to the middle sector split. Everyone else is improving. He's improving as well, finding just about a tenth of a second. Lil Drips out on track as well. Carlos Sainz coming to the end of a flying lap now. Daddy Cool starting one. Out of the final part of the bus stop. 4 minutes 40 left on the clock here. Carlos Sainz finds half a second. It's a 43.8, splitting the Sauber drivers, goes to P7. What now can Phoenix Gray do with Lewis and Bradders a couple of tenths up the road? Phoenix Gray up to the line. It's a 42.8, goes to P3. Well, remains P3, but improves that lap time. And McKenzie returning to the pits. The Dutchie is on a flying lap, or coming to the end of one, as is Taz Manager, who was on that set of mediums, is on an invalidated lap as well. So Taz Manager not improving on that 145.5 at the moment. The Dutchie though found half a second through the middle sector. The Dutchie up to the line, finds 0.8 of a second, 43.4 goes to P6. Ortron starting a new flying lap as well. Smalley and Little Drips are on outlaps. Cam McKenzie just made it back to the pits. 3 minutes, just over 3 minutes 30 left on the clock. He will have time to get back out on track and back round, as long as he's out in the next minute and a half or so. Ferrari of Dangerous Dave coming up to end a flying lap here. 43.1, not quite able to break into the 42s, but goes to P4 for the Ferrari driver. His first one on a set of softs in Q2. As Lewis W out onto track, Jonathan Corwin rejoins the session at the end of Q2. Daddy Cool on the way up to the line was 10 seconds slower, so an aborted lap there by the Alpine car. Cinders on his way back to the pits. Carlos Sainz retires from the session. Phoenix Gray returns to the pits as well. Goes into the back of MSC Cinders, who's going very slowly in on the run into pit lane there. Taz Manager not improving on his lap time. Ortron is though, found a 10.5 through the first sector. Finds 4.5 tenths through the middle sector. Needs to find about 1.2 seconds though to challenge the top 10. Does the McLaren driver, so a big time to gain. 2 minutes 18 left on the clock. As the Dutchie is on the way back to the pits. Ortron though up to the line. Smalley starting a new flying lap as well. Ortron in the McLaren needs to find over a second to get in, to have a chance into Q3. Finds just under a second. He can't quite get into the top 10. That is likely to be his qualifying done. He doesn't have time to get a new set of tyres on. Can he save the battery up and go again right at the death? Daddy Cool on a flying lap. Williams of Alley about to start a flying lap. Daddy Cool not improving through the middle sector. Smalley on a flying lap, tucked up behind Taz Manager, not where he wants to be. Lil Drips, I believe as well, is about to start a flying lap. Daddy Cool returning to pit lane. There, that is his qualifying session done. He will start P14 as Cinders isn't on track as well, so that's 14th and 15th sorted. Taz Manager retires from the session. He's done in P13. Smalley finds 1.5 tenths through the first sector, through the middle sector, losing time through the middle sector. Smalley needs a mighty final sector here. Ortron on track. Can he get round and start a new flying lap? He doesn't look like he's been saving up enough of the battery, so Smalley potentially the last car to challenge the top 10 with 30 seconds left on the clock. Everyone else just going for pride at this point in time then. Smalley up to the line. It's a 45.2, improves, but only fractionally, does not improve his position. Ortron going slowly out of Stavolo. So there we are. That is everyone sorted from 11th to 15th. Ortron, Smalley, Taz Manager, Daddy Cool and Cinders join IGS Man and Jonathan Coyron for those to watch Q3. And that's going to be a shootout between Bradders, Lewis W, Phoenix Grey, Dangerous Dave, Alley, Dutchy, Damir, Carlos Sainz, Cam McKenzie and Lil Drips, who returns to the pits. Lewis W claims the Q2 braking rights with a 42.5. Trying to get into the psyche of Bradders in the Red Bull. Alley also on a fast lap, finding a quarter of a second through the middle sector. Can he lay his name into the 142 club and put a challenge down, potentially going for pole position? Damer is on a flying lap as well, found a 10th and a half through the middle sector. Alley rounds the final corner, a little bit of a drift, and up to the line for the Williams car. 43.171, can't quite get into the 42s, but very close to it, very close to the back of Dangerous Dave there as well. Damir rounds the final corner, up to the line, the last car to take the checkered flag. 43.7, improves by a 10th, not a position. And that brings to an end qualifying 2 here at Belgium. As there is the classifications, and those are the drivers eliminated. Ortron, Smalley, Taz Manager, Daddy Cool and Cinders. There's a momentary respite as the clouds begin to open here at the circuit to Spa-Francorchamps. There's rain beginning to fall as we head in toward Q3 in a couple of moments' time. What will that do to the running order? Who has got the setup balance right for the colder, wetter conditions? As there it is now, you see it as well, the rain falling. As the green flag at the end of the pit lane, DRS is now disabled, so it really is raining. In that short break, 2 Haas cars, 2 Kick Saubers, 2 Williams made it through to Q3. But it looks like it's going to be Bradders who's going to try and lead them out. The first car onto track from the Red Bull garage on the intermediate tyres. Wanting to get out there as soon as possible while the track is dry. Both Williams rather rudely cutting off Bradders there. Carlos Sainz and Ale. All three cars nose to tail as they make their way out of the pits. A little Drips also on his way out on track. You can see the rain falling, just how heavy that rain is. Hopefully this isn't going to be similar to the repeat of the 2021 Belgian Grand Prix qualifying weekend with that awful crash for Lando Norris at the top of this corner here. At the top of the hill on top of Eau Rouge, and you can almost see just the light reflecting off the puddles. Goes to show how much standing water there already is. Everyone out on track, everyone on a set of intermediates. It's going to be the Bradders in the Red Bull. It's going to be the first car to start flying lap, then the two Williams cars just a little bit behind. As there's almost a little bit of racing going on slightly further back through the field as Phoenix Gray got ahead of the two Kick Saubers. Didn't want to be stuck behind them if he could. Get the clean track in front of him, not get any of the spray or the reduction in visibility. As Bradders into the bus stop chicane, takes a wide line, makes the straight as long as possible. Here we go, qualifying 3 gets underway with Bradders the first car to start a flying lap. The two Williams of Carlos Sainz and Ale crossing the line immediately behind him. 9.5 minutes left on the clock. Little Drips is going to be the fourth car, and then Phoenix Gray in the two Kick Saubers. As we follow Bradders, in fact we'll go on board with Bradders up through Eau Rouge and Radion. 7th gear for the Red Bull driver as he makes his way down the Kemmel Straight, no DRS. But overtake enabled, as we can see on the steering wheel. 33.3 seconds through the first sector compared to the Williams behind. Ale 33.7, Carlos Sainz at 33.7. Little Drips does a 33.9 through the first sector. Phoenix Gray going to be the next car to that marker. 33.2 for Phoenix Gray, fastest of anyone through the first sector. Aimee with the 33.6. Dangerous Dave, the next car. 33.7. We'll get a look at Lewis W's first sector split. Another 33.2 as Bradders round campus 24.2. Carlos Sainz at 25.4. Ale 27.7. He's been invalidated, so this first laps for Ale will not count. As we'll have a look at Phoenix Gray sliding out of the Vanya chicane as we cut to him. Phoenix Gray 24.5. So Bradders up to the line now in the Red Bull to set the benchmark. It's a 55.4 from Bradders. Carlos Sainz at 56.8 goes to P2 naturally. Ale returning to the pits. What can Little Drips do in the Alpine? So the last car to set a lap time in Q1 goes to P3 now on a 58.8. Phoenix Gray in the new purple lap of 55.422, Dutchy of 56.239, beating Damir on a 56.7. Dangerous Dave up to the line in the Ferrari, goes to P3 of 55.6. Eyes turn now to the Haas cars. Lewis W, 54.9, half a second, blowing them all away. Cam Mackenzie, the second Haas car, the teammate of the provisional pole sitter, up to the line. It's going to be a 56.6, splitting the kick Saubers to go P6. So Lewis W taken early on as half a second clear of Phoenix Grey, with 17 thousandths of a second separating Bradders from a front row seat. Dangerous Dave only a couple of tenths back from Bradders, so not much, or not that much separating the top four, it has to be said. Dutchy, Cam Mackenzie, Daymare, just as they have been all through qualifying, kind of trying to sort themselves out in P5, 6 and 7, with Carlos Sainz snapping at the heels. Lil Drips in P9, and Alay, the only car to not set a lap time in the first run of Q3. 6 minutes now left on the clock, less than that, so we're over halfway through the final session. Will anyone brave it? Will anyone go out again on a new set of inters? Heard reports that it's supposed to be raining in the race as well, so this could either be a really interesting end to qualifying or the dullest. As almost everyone making their way back to the pits. The only car that hasn't is Carlos Sainz, who's still out on track. Not going particularly quickly. Not sure what's going on there. Has he just loaded his car heavy and going to stay out on track and burn fuel? 38.6. Aquaplane spins off at Les Combes. That is the dangers of these intermediate tyres. They don't clear as much standing water as the full wets do naturally. It's Cam Mackenzie staying out on track as well. Gone for a slow lap, looking to go for a new fast lap then. Bradders is rolling down pit lane, so they are going to come back out on track. 4 minutes 20 now left on the clock. Cam Mackenzie, this will be interesting. Can he improve through the first sector? He can by 0.3 of a second to a 33 flat. Bradders on an outlap. Lil Drips on an outlap. Are we going to see Alay again? Who else is going to risk another lap? 3 minutes 50 now left on the clock. Carlos Sainz still not going particularly quickly. Is he saving up that battery for another push lap next time around? There's someone else rolling down pit lane. I believe that has to be Phoenix Grey in the RB, and it is. Phoenix Grey back out to track with 3 minutes 20 left on the clock. As is one of the kick Saubers, that's Daymare. Carlos Sainz starting a new flying lap now. Cam Mackenzie found a second through the middle sector, so Cam looking to join the 155 club. If he can keep it nice and neat and tidy through the final sector. There's Blanchimont, so now it's one braking zone, 2 corners to go for Cam Mackenzie. He'll have time for another slowdown lap and one more push lap if he wants it, if he's got the fuel for it. But if this is his last lap in qualifying, it needs to be a good one. It was a good exit from the bus stop chicane. It is a good one. It's a 55.2. He goes to P2. Is the track coming back to the drivers now? As currently it's a all Haas front row. Or did Cam just load his car for a wet weather setup? Carlos Sainz finds a 1/4 of a second through the first sector. Bradders starting a new flying lap. This will be an interesting tell to see what the track is doing. Whether it's coming to or going away from the drivers. Little Drips as well on track. Currently sitting there on a 58.8. Wants to improve by at least 2 seconds to get himself in the mixer. But no, Lil Drips returning to the pits. 2 minutes left on the session, so this is it. Lil Drips' session is done. At best, he will start P9. With Alay on an outlap, he might start P10. Meanwhile, Bradders End of the first sector improves by 0.5 of a second. Who else is on a lap? Carlos Sainz finds 0.5 second through the middle sector, so it is coming back. The track is beginning to dry. Carlos Sainz with a snap of oversteer and a slide out of Stavolo on the run up toward Blanchimont. That's going to hurt him all the way now to the braking zone of the bus stop chicane. 1 minute 30 left on the clock. Everyone are out on track with the exception of Lil Drips. Carlos Sainz into the bus stop chicane. This is going to be his last flying lap unless he goes again straight away. Damir starts a new flying lap, looking to improve from P7. Carlos Sainz improves by just about 0.5 second, splitting the two kick Saubers, and goes for a Scandinavian flick into the source that doesn't pay off. Bradders to the end of the middle sector and finds 0.4 of a second. He could be into the 154s here. It's a purple middle sector for the Red Bull. Ale just behind. He's going to be the last car to see the start finish line and start a new lap. Everyone else is too far back. So Bradders into the bus stop chicane. Can he go again? Has he got the fuel and the battery to go again? He's out of the final corner now. This potentially for provisional pole position. Bradders up to the line. 55.4 improves by 0.8 of a second. Beat that Lewis. Beat that Phoenix Grey. Well, Phoenix Grey found 0.03 of a second through the first sector, gets loose and slides into the gravel trap at Pouon. That's the end of his qualifying session. He won't be improving from there. Best he'll be starting is P4. But what can those behind do? There's a yellow flag in the middle sector for the slow zone for Phoenix Grey. Dangerous Dave coming to the end of the middle sector, as is Damir as well on an invalidated lap, so that's his session done too. Ale 33.4 through the first sector. Dangerous Dave, what can he do now? Through the middle sector split, improving by 0.5 second. This could get him into the 54s as well. This could get him onto the front row for Dangerous Dave. The Dutchie found a second as well. All of a sudden, the drivers' lap times getting very close to each other here. Lewis on a flying lap as well, found 0.3 of a second through the middle sector, but it's going to be Dangerous Dave, the next car to take the checkered flag. Rounds the final corner now, gets the power down. Dangerous Dave for Ferrari, up to the line. It's a 54.9, goes to P2, knocks Lewis off, but Lewis is on a new flying lap. What can the Dutchie do? In the kick Sauber, 55.4, remains P6, but massive lap time improvement. Lewis in the Haas up to the line to retake provisional pole position. He gets it by 0.04 of a second, goes to P1. The only car on track that can stop this is Ale in P10. It was a 24.4 middle sector. He's just been invalidated for running wide at Blanchimont. That's really difficult to say after the better part of an hour's worth of qualifying. So there we have it, your top 10 in order. Lewis W, Bradders, Dangerous Dave, Cam McKenzie, Phoenix Grey, the Dutchie, Carlos Sainz, Damir, Lil Drips and Ale. Rounding it off, what could have been for Phoenix Grey? Missing out a chance to finish that final lap. Cam McKenzie finding massive amount of time for a surprise P4, it has to be said, given his pace all through the first part of, or the first couple of parts of qualifying. Wait for Bradders to get pushed back into the garage, and the end of the qualifying session. That was entertaining in the extreme at the end. Someone's saying their brake paddle is sticking, but hopefully you found a setting for it on the calibration, or hopefully you can clear that up going into the race. Dangerous Dave getting egged on to go for a double overtake into La Source. We've seen people try that before, and in the case of Romain Grosjean, that's ended in race bans. So don't get it wrong, Dangerous Dave. I know it's in your name, but you don't need to live up to it. As admin say, race start at 5 past the hour. In 4 minutes time. Hopefully that lives. That gives whoever's brake pedals are sticking a chance to fix that situation. It gives me a chance to grab a quick drink. So I will be back in just a couple of moments as we get ready for the Grand Prix weekend. It's race time at the Belgian Grand Prix. Well, here we go. The clock is ticking down to the start of the Grand Prix. Brad is saying on the Twitch chat, he had I think it's something along the lines of he had an issue in the first sector. Whether that made him lose his final lap time, I'm not sure, but just all the more incentive for Bradders to go and get aggressive through the first part of the race and have a go at Lewis. As the 2-minute board gets held up, letting everyone know. As I said, only 2 minutes. Who's going to be looking quick? Dangerous Dave was looking quick as the track conditions got cooler. But Lewis W and Bradders in the Haas and Red Bull, can anyone get in the mix to try and stop them just running away from it at the front, making it a 2-horse race? What can Phoenix Grey do from P5 as well, of missing out on that final quali run with a bit of aquaplaning through Pouon? As for all of us to wait and see, 22 laps make up this race distance today. As the clock ticks down, a little over a minute to go, folks, so tyres will be off on lap 1. Brad is saying he has an advantage tonight. You feeling confident, Brad, as you've got the strategy dialed in? So, Brad, you're Leclerc. Sonic, who are you, mate? I can't quite figure out, and CR Mac as well. Just in the chat, just so as I know kind of who keeps popping up, because Mac with your brake pedal sounds like you're having an absolute joy. Sonic, you're Carlos. And Mac is Cam McKenzie. Well, I suppose I should have figured that one out. So, Mac, have you just done... So you've got to P4? With the sticking brake pedal? Yeah, quite self-explanatory. God, were you going wet tyres, dry track then, Carlos? See my line bounce on the straight. Yikes. So have you been able... So Max, that's not awful then. If you... I suppose if that... Yeah, that doesn't affect you in the wet if you don't have DRS, but hopefully you get that sorted for the dry weather running. It looks like we're about to be getting underway. As here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. Hold, and it's lights out and away we go for the Belgian Grand Prix. It looks like a good start there from Lewis on the left-hand side, cutting across. Bradders. Dangerous Dave having a look up the inside of the Red Bull going into turn 1. There looked like there might have been a little bit of contact there, as that's Ortron getting a little bit loose out of La Source and down the hill toward Eau Rouge and Radion we go, and it's Lewis leading the way from Bradders. Dangerous Dave, Cam McKenzie up to P, stays in P4. Carlos Sainz P5. Phoenix Grey losing a place to P6. Lil Drips P7. Dutch E8. LA 9. Someone's just run very wide there. Jonathan Coyan on a flying start is up to P10. Damon's gone backwards to P11. Ortron, then it's IJ's man, Taz manager Daddy Cool, Smalley and Sind is the last car as they make their way through Les Combes. Carlos Sainz has spun around somewhere, going slowly at the exit of Les Combes. Gets back underway now. He's on a set of hard tyres, but he's down to P16, so he's got a job to do. Ortron spinning out there at the exit of the Les Combes sequence. Gets underway now. Is on a set of hard tyres as well. Looks like he's got some front wing damage too. But at the front of the field, it's Lewis leading Bradders and Dangerous Dave, who's running a little bit wide through Pouhon, but all three cars separated by very little as they head toward the Fagnes chicane. So there you see what tyres everyone is starting on. And it's everyone on a set of hards with the exception of IJS Man and Smalley, both of whom have made a little bit of ground up from their starting positions. As up toward Blanchimont we run, and it's the top three separated by about 2.5 tenths of a second on the run in toward the bus stop chicane. Dangerous Dave harrying the back of Bradders. Bradders harrying the back of Lewis. Are we going to see move? Bradders going defensive from Dangerous Dave around the outside at the bus stop chicane. Dave still there on the inside as he can't quite get the traction down. Cam McKenzie getting loose out of the bus stop chicanes, fallen backwards to P11. It's another free position for Jonathan Coran and IGS man. Jonathan, who's going up the inside of Little Drips into the first corner on the brakes. Can he get the traction to get it done on the exit? Yes, he can. Damir trying to follow him through now on the run toward La Source and Eau Rouge. In fact, we're going to see a Alonso and Webber moment side by side up the hill through Eau Rouge. Lil Drips hold on to P7 for the moment. Bradders and Dangerous Dave swapping positions on the run up toward Les Combes, but it's Lewis leading the way from Bradders. Dangerous Dave, Phoenix Grey on P4, catching up to the back of the two ahead. LA P5, Dutchy and Damir swapping positions. Lil Drips, IJS man, Carlos Sainz in P13 right on the back of Taz Manager 2. Cinders has boxed onto a set of softs. It's a set of mediums for Ortron. Everyone else running cleanly. IJS man up to P8 as he goes around the outside of Lil Drips, up the inside at No Name. He's up to P8 now. Jonathan Coyron, where's Jonathan? He's in P10, going up the inside at Pouhon, or at least attempting to. Runs a little bit wide, gets it back on track. McKenzie goes off and gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings already. That's a bad start to the day for the Haas driver. Meanwhile, Phoenix Grey sticking with the leaders, but only just. LA 1.1 further back. Dutchy, same gap as is Damir, who's got IJS man, who's absolutely on a flying start, making great use of those medium tyres. He's gone from last to P8 in the space of just under 2 laps, and now going into the bus stop chicane, he's in a position to get the DRS and blast past on the Camel Straight next time around. Bradders half a second back as well, going to be close. LA settling a purple lap of 45.9. Taz Manager, a 3-second time penalty too. It's down the hill toward Eau Rouge and Radion. Bradders inside 0.3 of a second. Are we going to see a DRS move down the Camel Straight? Dangerous Dave sticking with them, but only just. Is Phoenix Grey inside DRS range? Yes, he is. Bradders already get past Lewis as they head toward the braking zone at the end of the Kemble Straight. Phoenix Grey sitting there. IJS man up to P7. Damir trying to get involved as Jonathan Coran and Cam McKenzie do battle. Oh, there's contact. Cam McKenzie was slow, trying to avoid Jonathan Coran, and gets rear-ended by Lil Drips, spins out and goes into the barrier at the exit of Les Combes. Dangerous Dave picks up a 3-second time penalty for dangerous driving. Lil Drips gets loose out of Les Combes and goes back to P14. So all action seemingly surrounding Jonathan Coran at the moment, who runs wide again through Paul. Doesn't want to do that too many more times, or he's getting a penalty too. Meanwhile, Dangerous Dave sticking with those in front. That little bit of a time penalty helping him close to the back of Lewis and Bradders as they make their way out of Stavelot and up toward Blanchimont to end lap 3. Lil Drips with a 3-second time penalty now as well, losing out to Cam McKenzie Into the bus stop chicane we go with the 3 leaders, and there is Phoenix Grey in the background coming in through P4. LA just behind as well. The top 5 separated by only about 5 seconds as they head toward La Source. It's going to be Bradders now. Last time it was Lewis, but how long can Bradders hold on to the lead down the Kemmel Straight while under DRS attack? Is he going to lose 2 positions on the exit of Radion now? Here comes Lewis, here comes Dangerous Dave. Both cars powered by the Ferrari engine, and Lewis getting a little bit loose as he tries to make his way 3 abreast into Les Combes, and it's going to be Lewis Bradders. Bradders holds on to the lead. Can Dangerous Dave slide one up the inside? Not quite. And the third part of the corner. So it's as they were on the exit. The Dutchie with a 3-second time penalty. Cam McKenzie and Drips heading to pit lane. The Dutchie got past the IGS man up into P6, but locks up through Bruxelles, through No Name, and now on the run down toward Pouon. IGS man right on the back of the Kick Sauber driver. And all this is just allowing the leaders, the top 5, to get away a little bit. Dangerous Dave needs to try and stay with the 2 in front, otherwise we're going to get a splinter group here. Any other battles going on further down the field? Lil Drip's quite close to the back of Cinders after his pit stop for repairs. But it's all attention to the front of the field, where the gap between first and second is a number of car lengths as they make their way through the bus stop chicane. All 5 cars separated. Very little now in toward La Source. Dangerous Dave was having a look there at Lewis. I thought he was going to go for it on the brakes, but thinks better of it. And now on the run out of La Source, Dave looked like he got a great exit compared to Lewis, and now through Eau Rouge. All 3 cars will have going to try that again. Lewis and Dave will have DRS just like they did a lap before. This time it's not going to be 3 abreast. Lewis takes the lead though. Dangerous Dave going to sit in P3. IGS man gets ahead of the Dutchie. That is the battle for P6. A couple of seconds back up the road from the leaders. Daddy Cool into the pits for Alpine. Not sure what that is for, but he's going to fall down the order to, might be around about Ultron, might just be last though. Thanks to the rather unique exit here, end of the pit lane. There is Teddy Cool, there is Ortron, so it was very close with each other on pit exit, but Ortron with the braking rights for the moment. Phoenix Grey and LA just beginning to lose touch a little bit with Dave, Bradders and Lewis. That gap is just about at a second. If he gets too much larger, Phoenix Grey will be outside of DRS range, that magical 1 second window where the letterbox in the rear wing opens up. Running toward the bus stop again, all 3 cars, half a second between them. They're almost pushing each other through the final couple of corners, and it just allows Phoenix Grey that little sniff to get that little bit closer as they jostle for line and position into La Source. Dave with a brilliant exit every single time I see it. It just looks to get better and better, and now he's harrying Bradders on the way down toward Eau Rouge. Nothing going there, but maybe on the exit, maybe with the DRS. Has he got the overspeed down the Kemmel Straight? They're both going to have the overspeed on Lewis. It's going to be 3 abreast again, is it? In toward Les Combes. Bradders back up the inside, gets it done on the brakes. Lewis able to come back across and cover off from Dave, so it's as they were. Dutchie and IGS man still swapping positions for P6. These 2 now some 5 seconds off the lead of the Grand Prix. Jonathan Corrins just picked up a 3-second time penalty though. He's in P9. He's got about 1.7 seconds to Carlos Sainz. As Cam Mackey gets another 3-second time penalty. He's in P13 at the moment. There you see the penalty count. He's the only one with 2 lots of penalties. As Lil Drips with another 3-second time penalty. So there you go, Cam, Mackenzie and Lil Drips picking up 6 seconds now apiece. Meanwhile at the front of the field, guess what, it's 3/10 between them. They're pushing each other through the bus stop again, and Phoenix Grey being able to close up that gap by not having to worry about getting a little tap on the rear end. In fact, it's the closest the top 5 have been to each other for a little while now. As they start lap 7 of 22, Ortron with a 3-second time penalty. Ale getting very loose there out of La Source, it looked like. Losing a little bit of that straight line speed, but not enough that it's an issue. Phoenix Grey right on the back of Dangerous Dave. We're going to see a couple of moves down the Kemmel Straight here. We've got a yellow flag, and that's for Cinders going slowly out of the Fania chicane. Lewis is already ahead of Bradders. Can Phoenix Grey have a go at Dangerous Dave? No, he can't. Has a look up the inside, trying to scare the Ferrari driver on the brakes. Can't get it done though. So Lewis and Bradders just swapping positions, taking it in turns to share the lead. The Dutchy and IGS man swapping positions through their Lecom. Dutchy holds on to it for the moment. The gap though now at 7 seconds. And the Mercedes driver, having absolutely none of it, goes steaming back up the inside, gets it stopped on the brakes thanks to a lockup. The Mercedes driver up to P6, ahead of both Kick-Saubers who are right behind him. Both Kick-Saubers have been separated by only a couple of tenths through every qualifying session so far, so 2 evenly matched teammates there. Meanwhile, at the back of the field, Cinders and Daddy Cool quite close to each other. That could be an overtaking opportunity. Carlos Sainz is caught up with Jonathan Corin. That's the battle for P9. Daddy Cool did get ahead of Cinders. Dangerous Dave has got ahead of Bradders somewhere. Lil Drips has picks up another 3-second time penalty. Can Dangerous Dave have a go at Lewis on the way into the bus stop? No. So, but he goes deep into the bus stop. That's going to allow Bradders a chance to try and dance his way around the outside. Gets it done on the traction. He's now up into P2, and he's got the overspeed on Lewis, does he, to go back up the inside, but Dangerous Dave is going to go back up the inside on the brakes into La Source. He can't quite get it done. Didn't quite have the overspeed he thought he had. And so it's back to the way they were running. Lil Drips retires from the session. That's on the exit of Fania. Don't know if that is a crash or not. I want to keep following the lead as they come up onto the DRS range, out of Radion, onto the Kemmel Straight. There goes Bradders, he's already through. Dangerous Dave did get DRS, but Phoenix Grey's having a go up the inside again. Can't quite get it done with the overspeed. I wonder if Phoenix is carrying a little bit more downforce than Dangerous Dave, and so he's a little bit better in the wets. But here comes Ale looking one up the inside. That would have been quite a surprising move from that far back. Carlos Sainz gets ahead of Jonathan Corin in the battle for P9. The Mercedes still ahead of the 2 kicks. That's the battle for P6. Jonathan Corin, I thought, was having a go back there at Carlos Sainz into Druxel, but couldn't get it done. Dangerous Dave now second off the 2 leaders. He's going to have to close that gap as the Ferrari driver. He doesn't want to fall victim to the 2 behind that are lurking and waiting like sharks in the water. Lewis still only 0.2 of a second off the back of Bradders. Are we going to see a move here? Through Blanchimont, out of Blanchimont, maybe just the overspeed in the straights. Lewis in the slipstream, looking up the inside into the bus stop chicane. Has a look, doesn't quite go for it. Dangerous Dave, 1.06 seconds. Is he inside DRS range? Have a look. No, he's not. Dangerous Dave has fallen outside of DRS range. This is a big turning point now in his race as Carlos Sainz picks up a 3-second time penalty. He's the only one of the leaders with the time penalty as well, so it really is vital that he stays in touch with those ahead, but no, he doesn't have it. So here we go, Phoenix Grey. What's your opportunity? What's your straight line speed like? As Lewis already alongside Bradders with the DRS wide open, he's up into the lead of the Grand Prix. Here comes Phoenix Grey. He's going to go around the outside of Dangerous Dave for P3. No, he's not. Dangerous Dave absolutely electric on that brakes. Has got those dialed in an absolute treat. So Phoenix Grey going to be frustrated yet again in P4. He knows he doesn't have that he knows he has a free 3 seconds over Dangerous Dave come the checkered flag, but surely he wants to get it done on track and have a crack at Bradders and Lewis, who are just up the road. Cinders picking up a 3-second time penalty. He's made another pit stop down in P16. There is everyone's current penalty count. Jonathan Corin with 6th as well. It's Phoenix Grey now losing touch a little bit to the back of Dangerous Dave. Got a yellow flag all of a sudden. That is for Cinders, who's being lapped. Wasn't looking for Cinders to be falling that far back on my on the mini map there in the bottom right. So into the bus stop we go again. Lewis, Bradders, Dangerous Dave, 0.8 of a second separating them. Phoenix Grey 1.2 further back. This is going to be putting Phoenix Grey on the back foot as there is a couple of car lengths behind. There go the leaders down the hill from La Source. Love just quickly listening a little bit to these 1.6 litre V6 hybrid cars roar, and there goes Bradders up the inside into Les Combes. It's a better run through Les Combes for Lewis, though, it has to be said, there in P2. Dangerous Dave, though, sitting there in P3. LA did get ahead of Phoenix Grey. Dutchy is ahead of IGS man. Damir is just on the back. Jonathan Corin and Carlos Sainz still going at it. That's the battle for P9 at the moment. Smalley in P12. Only 4.5 seconds off the back of Taz Manager. No penalties going for him. Alea has just picked up a penalty. That's quite a major one, as Phoenix Grey is harrying him to try and get P4 back. Meanwhile, front of the field, 0.6 of a second separating the top three. Red Bull, Haas, Ferrari. As it has been for the first 10 laps. It's been non-stop action between these three all the way through. It's been an absolute pleasure to watch for me. I don't know about you guys watching at home, but as Dangerous Dave almost looking for a move on Lewis round the outside into the bus stop chicane. Really do need tremendous overspeed there for that to be a viable overtaking point. But now in toward La Source onto lap 11. We're at the halfway point here at the Belgian Grand Prix. It's a 2 seconds now the gap from himself to Dangerous Dave. That gap's going backwards for Alea and Phoenix Grey. They need to try and close that gap just to make use of Dangerous Dave's penalties. RJS man has got ahead of the Dutchy. That's on traction out of La Source. Meanwhile, Lewis W with the help of DRS up the inside, getting ahead of Bradders. Can Dave follow him through? No, he can't. Phoenix Grey can get ahead of Alea though, going into Les Combes. The Dutchy with the help of DRS gets back ahead of RGS man. Can Damir have a look? No, he's a little bit too far back on this occasion. Carlos Sainz though isn't too far back off the back of Jonathan Corin, and he'll go dancing around the outside with the help of DRS. He's now up to P9. Back at the front of the field, Dangerous Dave very close to the back of Bradders into the Fania chicane. Not often you see an overtake get done here, fellas. Dave hanging on to the edge of it, making sure he just about doesn't quite go into the gravel trap. But this is going to give Lewis a little bit of breathing room as these two bicker and squabble away, and it's going to bring Phoenix Grey and Alea back in the fold a little bit. The gap now just under 2 seconds as they make their way through Stavelot and Blanche and up toward Blanchimont now. And now in toward the bus stop chicane, Bradders, Dangerous Dave. It's the biggest this gap has been between the top three for a little while, at just about a second or so. Dangerous Dave looking really good on the brakes, it has to be said. I've been watching it all the way through. He just is so confident through corner and apex, and through braking all the way through the apex and into the traction zones, and it's going to give him a chance here at Bradders if he has the straight line speed to match it at the top of the hill from Eau Rouge. He's almost pushing him through. It could be an overtake by the time they get to the DRS zone, which is a rare one. And now down the Kemmel Straight, there's Alea. He's going to be going around the outside of Phoenix Grey in the background. Nothing doing across the top three though, it's as they were. And as they have been pretty much since the start of the race, just swapping positions of the leaders every now and then. IGS Man gets ahead of the Duchy and kicks Sauber. Carlos Sainz is going to be getting past Jonathan Coiron again. Not sure where Jonathan made the overtake back past, but Carlos Sainz back up into P9. Smalley picking up a 3-second time penalty in P12. There are the leaders winding their way through the Fania chicane. Now through Campus and Sevelo. Now the question I've got is, they're all on the hard compound tyres, of course. Jonathan Coiron getting very close with Carlos Sainz going through Pouhon. Just noticed that on the timing tower. How long is it going to be before these drivers start thinking about a pit stop? These are all now 11 lap old hard tyres for the top 5. RJS Man in P6, the odd one out, starting on a set of mediums. How much longer can their tyres go into the race? There's some rain supposedly on the way, and there you see it, the clouds coming in from Eau Rouge and Radion as we head up the hill. As they just see kind of everyone's tyre situation. Up the hill they come. Brad is going to be getting past Lewis, you would imagine, with DRS, and there he goes, blasting past like candy from a baby, getting it done on the brakes. Lewis, I thought, was going to have a look back up the inside and try and come back at Brad is there for a second, but no, thinking better of it. Maybe that's a move for 5 to 7 or 8 laps time. Dangerous Dave still sitting there in P3. He's right on the back. He has been all the way through. Found some really good pace, has the Ferrari driver. Phoenix Gray and LA in P4 and 5 respectively. Jonathan Coiron's got ahead of Carlos Sainz down the Kemmel Straight. That was with the help of DRS. RGS Man still ahead of the two Kick Saubers. Duchy leading Damir in that particular battle. Just going back to my regular point, are any of the top 5 going to trigger an undercut on anyone else? Is that a trick maybe that Phoenix Gray can do if they do want to make a stop onto dry tyres? As Prad is going to get harried here by the two Ferrari powered cars behind on the run in toward the bus stop chicane. Dangerous Dave looking for a move up the inside on Lewis W into the bus stop. It needs a good traction out of the second part of the bus stop. It looks like he might have got it here, and Dangerous Dave going to be pushing to try and get up into P2, and he's got it. Now can he get it done on the brakes into La Source? No, Lewis is going to go clean around the outside. Supreme bravery from Dangerous Dave to keep it on the inside there, squeezed between the Haas and the wall. And Dangerous Dave, that's not the first time we've seen him try a little move through Blanchimont and in toward the bus stop chicane, but that's definitely the closest he's got so far. But now, is Lewis close enough to try and get past Braders on the run down the Kemmel Straight? He's gaining, looking up the inside from a long way back onto the brakes. Lewis W back up into the lead of the race from Braders. Braders though with a great run through Les Carmes and gets his nose chopped off a little bit there as we're on the helicopter shot through the final part of the Les Carmes sequence, but Lewis maintains the lead from Braders and Dangerous Dave. Phoenix Gray lost out to LA, but that gap now down to 1.5 seconds. LA going to bring them back toward the leaders if he can. The Duchy got ahead of IGS Man. That is the battle for P6 still going on. Yellow flag at the end of Sector 1. That is for, now Sector 2, that is for Cinders, I believe, going slowly. So he gets lapped by Jonathan Coiron and Carlos Sainz. Coiron leading that battle there. But it's battles all the way through the top 10 at the moment, and none better than the one for the podium positions in the top 3 as IGS Man gets back ahead of the Duchy coming out of Fania. Here we go on the run back toward the bus stop again. Is Dangerous Dave going to try it for a second lap in a row? No, he thinks better of it on this occasion, but he forces Dangerous Dave offline a little bit. The Duchy and IGS Man drag racing out of Stavolo. And the Duchy has won that one. He's back up to P6 as they hit Blanchimont and then into the bus stop chicane. Out of La Source they come. Lewis, Braders, Dave, LA only a second back. Phoenix Gray still there, very much inside DRS range on the run down the hill. through Eau Rouge and Radion. Who's going to have good enough straight line speed for an overtake on this time? Is Dangerous Dave finally close enough to go for a move? It's 3 wide down the Kemmel straight. Lewis might be losing 2 positions here. Is Dave going to have to go around the outside on Lewis to get it done? Got the inside on the second part of Les Combes. Now has to go around the outside. Don't dip 2 wheels into the gravel just like that. That's going to lose him traction. And Lewis holds on to P2, forcing Dangerous Dave just wide enough that it was fair, but or just wide enough that it wasn't dangerous, but just wide enough that it was fair. But not wide enough it was fair. There we go, that's the words I was looking for. Allez, Phoenix Grey watching all of this, and that gap now closing down to 1.1 seconds. So while the top 3 squabble, the chasers gain. Daymir and IJS Man holding positions. The Duchy has fallen back to P8, however, so it's still Kick-Sauber, Mercedes Kick-Sauber, but it's the other way around with Daymir ahead of the Duchy. On this occasion we've got a yellow flag. That is for Cinders getting lapped now by TAS manager Orton, picking up a 3-second time penalty. Daddy Cool into the pits for Alpine. He's in P15 at the moment and about to get lapped by the leaders, as here they come out of the bus stop chicane down the main straightaway into La Source. Lap 16 of 22 here. Not sure when this forecasted rain is coming, but not many laps left now. And what are people's tyres beginning to feel like? RGS Man, especially on those medium compound tyres. He's gone on for another lap. Fair play to him. The true tyre whisperer of MSC F1. Meanwhile, Lewis with DRS wide open, gaining, deciding to stick behind Bradazon this lap. Jonathan Corin not sticking behind Carlos Sainz. He's back up into P9. Phoenix Grey up and ahead of Allez into P4. IGS Man getting ahead of Daymir round the outside if he can at Les Combes. The Dutchie's gone straight on. He's not really in the fight, but there we go. Cam McKenzie, as Smalley has hit the pits, he's had enough on those medium compound tyres. Hits the pits, Cam McKenzie then up into P12, some 10 seconds off the back of TAS manager, who's 15 seconds off the points off Jonathan Corin and Carlos Sainz. And it looks like IGS Man might just be breaking clear a little bit from the Kick-Saubers on those medium tyres, those very old medium tyres. He'll be hoping and praying that the rain comes before they explode. Meanwhile, the top 3 yet again separated by half a second going into the bus stop chicane. Dangerous Dave sitting way back. And Dangerous Dave into the pits. He's had enough of those hard compound tyres. He's triggering the undercut. Here we go. It's a strategy war now amongst the top 5. Let's have a look. What's Dave going to go on to? That looks like a set of Redwall softs. And indeed it is for the Ferrari man. Good stop and away he goes. IGS Man also into the pits for Mercedes. Locks it up. Make sure he doesn't get a speeding penalty. Where's Dave going to come out in relation to the Kick-Saubers? He'll be hoping close enough for the DRS, but not too close that he'll be picking up dirty air and just washing his front tyres all over the place. IGS Man also onto a set of softs for Mercedes. Dangerous Dave got out in between the Kick-Saubers, close enough for DRS. Is he close enough for a move out of Eau Rouge and Radion? He'll be coming from a long way back, but he does have that DRS. He's going up the inside, he's getting it done on the brakes. Dangerous Dave back up into P5, so there we go. That is the gap that the leaders have got over the rest of the field. IGS Man onto a set of softs, got to Dangerous Dave picking up a new 3-second time penalty. That's now 6 seconds he's accrued so far in the first 16 laps of the Grand Prix. Carlos Sainz and Jonathan Corin still swapping positions down there in P9 and P10. TAS manager picks up a 3-second time penalty as Cam McKenzie comes back toward him. That gap now down to 7.3 seconds. I say that and Cam McKenzie goes straight on at the top of Eau Rouge. Doesn't go into the barrier but loses a lot of time. Now Dangerous Dave has come into the pits. Is anyone going to cover that off? Lewis Bradders, they make their way both go past Pedex, that they're happy to carry on for a little while longer. Both Ale and Phoenix Grey carry on too, so there we go. Dangerous Dave rolling the dice, going for the odd one out strategy. Everyone thought, well, I thought Ferrari were a little bit mad doing it with Charles Leclerc in the real-life Monza Grand Prix just over a week ago, but it worked out beautifully for them. Can it work out beautifully again today for Dangerous Dave? Meanwhile, the two Kick Saubers separated by only a couple of tenths of a second on track, only a couple of car lengths. Are we going to see an overtake there? Lewis and Brad are swapping position just as they have done all race long into Les Combes. Jonathan Corrin and Carlos Sainz swapping positions just as they have done all race long. Jonathan Corrin getting that done with DRS down the main straight. Dutchie going for a move on Damir. He's up into P6 now. The interesting thing is Bradders picks up a 3-second time penalty. That wasn't what I was going to say what the interesting thing was for me from the commentary box, but that's a massive turning point in the Grand Prix. Is this going to force Bradders now to make a break for it, or do something different as the clouds roll in off the Ardennes Forest? 17, 18 old hard compound tyres are going to be screaming out for a replacement in a couple of moments or so. Dangerous Dave taking seconds a lap out of the leaders. Does he have the tyres before it starts raining to really close them down and make that extra pit stop worth it? He could do with another 3 or 4 laps at the very least before everyone comes into the pits for the wets, but it's Bradders into the pits and Ale into the pits for Red Bull and Williams respectively. What's Bradders going on to? It's a set of inters. He's gone straight on to inters. Ale trundles past. What will the Williams go on to? It's so dry. It's not started raining yet. Dangerous Dave 44.9. New purple lap. It's a set of inters for Ale as well. There's no rain falling yet here at the Spa circuit, but they've gone onto the intermediate tyres. They don't want to overcook them, or they'll just be like driving on greased up baking paper. Damir into the pits too. He's looking for a set of intermediates. Still, there's no rain on the liveries yet or anything on any of the drivers. Jonathan Corrin and Carlos Sainz going to come out very close to Damir here on the run down to hill. In fact, Jonathan Corrin will be picking up DRS off the back of Damir. Ale with another 3-second time penalty. He's in P6. Those intermediate tyres going to be beginning to warm up to the point of overheating. Dangerous Dave, meanwhile, on those fresh set of softs, he's looking like he's made the right decision for the moment, unless that rain starts falling and starts falling hard. Jonathan Corrin got ahead of Damir, who picks up a 3-second time penalty now on the inside at Les Combes. Phoenix Grey 4.5 seconds off the back of Lewis, and was that a raindrop I just saw at the top of the screen? It looked like there might have been the rain beginning to fall now, maybe. And indeed it is, that in Blanchimont, it's raining in Blanchimont. So, Dangerous Dave, what have you made the right decision? Bradders, Dutchie, have you overcooked your intermediate tyres? Lewis and Phoenix, have you played it? Phoenix goes round again. He's going long here. Lewis into the pits for the Haas team. Where's he going to come out in relation to Bradders and Ale? Dangerous Dave goes by. It's a set of intermediates indeed for Lewis, and away he goes. Yellow flag in sector 2. Who's that for? That was the Dutchie going into the pits for Kick Sauber. It was for Carlos Sainz, that yellow flag in sector 2. IGS man went onto softs, gets ahead of the Dutchie, who goes onto a set of inters. 6.6 seconds the gap now between Phoenix Grey and Dangerous Dave. Lewis 5 seconds further back. He's 3 seconds clear of Bradders. So that's how much time they lost going that lap earlier. 3 laps to go. Phoenix Grey, his tyres must be screaming. He will have to make a pit stop regardless. He can't, unless he can. Can he? He can't. Can he? He can't stay. I don't know. I generally don't know here. If the DRS gets disabled, Can Phoenix Grey stay out on track for the whole race on a set of hards? Does he want to risk it? I mean, Lewis has just taken half a second out of Dangerous Dave, who's still taking time out of Phoenix Grey, hand over fist. IGS Man finally picks up a 3-second time penalty. That now just leaves 2 left in the race without a penalty. Cam, Mackenzie, Tasmanager and Ortron are all in the pits. They'll all be for a set of intermediates. There it is, DRS disabled. Smalley has spun at the top of O-Region Radio, and that's that yellow flag here that we're looking at. So now, what are Dave and Phoenix Grey going to do? Surely the answer is pit. Phoenix Grey into the box. Dave stays out on track. He's feeling those soft compound tyres. But there is Lewis W, 3 seconds now behind. So that is the time that Phoenix Grey has lost by going that long. About 5 to 10 seconds or so, but he's back out on track now. Where's he going to come out in relation to LA? These two have been fighting all through the race. There goes LA. He has to go the long way around La Source. Phoenix Grey on the inside is going to stay in P4. So there we go. Phoenix Grey also doesn't have a penalty. That's quite an important one to remember. And now there's no DRS, so Dangerous Dave losing so much time. 2 laps to go here. Cam Mackenzie with another penalty. He gets ahead of Smalley and Tasmanager. Damir and IGS Man swapping positions. IGS is into the pits and back out again on a set of softs. Dangerous Dave has lost the lead to Lewis. He's on the wrong tyres now. The Dutchie picking up a 3-second time penalty. Let's have a look at the penalty count, because this is what's important now for the rest of the Grand Prix. Pretty much everyone with 6 seconds worth, and Dave just no grip at all, losing it, running out wide at turn 9. So Phoenix Grey might very well be on for a podium. Phoenix Grey definitely on for a podium here. Lewis W looking now with a pretty much a 5.8 second net lead over Bradders. When you take into account that 3-second penalty that Bradders has, Carlos Sainz now onto 6 seconds of penalties too. Net penalty count will play a matter for people with for people up and down the order. But Lewis W on the intermediates. Phoenix Grey's got ahead of Dangerous Dave. There he is, running out wide out of Stavolo. He's back down to P5. Can he make a pit stop and get out ahead of the Dutchie? Can he stay P5 for Ferrari? Lewis W though starting his final lap, but there is Bradders behind. He's got to find 7 seconds pretty much on the last lap, as well as overtake a car to win the Grand Prix. It doesn't quite look like he's going to get that right. Dangerous Dave into the pits. This is now going to be interesting. There is the Dutchie locking up into the bus stop chicane. Dave hits his marks. Goes for another set of softs. He's not even gone for inters. Dave retires from the session, realises the mistake he's made. He might have brought home some points for Ferrari, but no. So the Dutchie up to P5. He's got IGS Man and Damir, the 2 cars behind. Those two only separated by a second or so that fight's not done yet. LA wanting to try and get back ahead of Phoenix Grey on track. That's just for pride. Can Phoenix find 3.5 seconds on the last 2 sectors to claim a P2 here? I think the answer to that is likely to be no. But that might be what he's pushing for, or just at the very least to keep LA behind and claim P3 on track. Meanwhile, there's a Red Bull running wide at Puon. That is Cinders and Smalley in there as well. Smalley's just getting it all crossed up. That Aston Martin looks a right handful in these conditions. Ortron right on the back of Tasmanager as they make their way through the bus stop chicane. This will be for P11 when they get there. Cam Mackenzie, after starting a brilliant P4 with that final do or die lap and that sticking brake pedal through the second and final part of qualifying, looks like he'll be bringing home a point, but it is going to be his teammate now who is 2 corners away from the checkered flag. There's one. That's the exit of the final corner. There is Lewis W, and there is your race winner for the Belgian Grand Prix. Crossing the line with spectacular fashion, got the strategy call right. Bradders comes home P2. Wasn't quite happy with being P2. Phoenix Grey comes home P3 ahead of LA. Those two were fighting basically all the way, all the top four then, fighting pretty much all the way through from lap 1 to the end. The Dutchie rounding the final corner, he's going to come home in a very well-deserved P5 unless the IGS man can find a second in the last corner. He can't quite do it. IGS man missing out on P5 by a couple of hundredths of a second. Damir coming round the bus stop chicane now. He'll come home P7. P5, P7 for Kick Sauber. They'll be quite happy with that, I am sure. Jonathan Corin exiting the final corner now. There he is. He'll come home P8. He saw off the challenge from Carlos Sainz. And when Dangerous Dave retired, got that free position. There's Carlos Sainz now, sliding out of the bus stop chicane. He's happy with that by the looks of it, as he comes home for P9. 2 points to his driver's tally. Cam McKenzie, the next car on track, the last point scoring car, as he hits the brakes for the bus stop chicane, rounds the final corner, gets the traction down. Cam McKenzie, it's going to be P1 and P10 for Haas. Double points finish. Now this is going to be interesting. Can Ortron get 3 seconds over Tasmanager as they come across the line? Wait for it. Yes, he can, but not by much. Smalley leaves the session. We'll have a look at the final classifications, but yes, Ortron did hold off Tasmanager for P11. IGS man, driver of the day from the game. Hard to disagree with that, coming from last to P6. Very entertaining race all the way through. I don't know about you guys, but I am absolutely whacked from it. Such great driving between Lewis Bradders, Phoenix Gray, LA, and Dangerous Dave. What could have been for him? All he had to do was just hold on to those hard tyres a little bit longer and he could have been on for that podium. But what a race. Lewis the winner. IGS man, the in-game driver of the day. I think I'm going to agree. P17 to P6. And only a couple of tenths off P5 as well. IGS man, my driver of the day. Lewis, the race winner. The fastest lap went to Dangerous Dave, but he won't claim a point for it for P13, as that is what he's classified in the end. Smalley was 14th, Daddy Cool 15th, Cinders 16th, and we had one DNF, and that was Lil Drips down in P17. Folks, thank you so much for watching my return to the commentary box. I've been Sharp. This has been the end of a 2-month break, and I'm back in MSC F1, and you'll find me here every Tuesday night going forward. But folks, for now, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you all again very, very soon. Good night, and goodbye.
More like Usain Bolt at the track meet. Try to keep it cool, but I ain't even low key. Got a hundo in my pocket, I ain't roasting. Cause I'm getting back to the basics. What hit me, what hurt me, what made me. Cause maybe this life is worth saving. I think